Please tell me you cannot see how terribly messy my room is. And if you can, lie about it. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Hi, how are you? How's your week been? As you can see by the title of this video is going to be me reading books that I've heard are really good, but I just don't have a particular interest in reading. Like, I wouldn't just pick up this book like on my own just to read like off of my TBR or anything. But I've heard are really good from a lot of people, and a lot of people love them, and a lot of people have already read them. So the first book we have is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I mean, to be honest, I think most of my like disinterest towards this book stems from how terrible I thought that the trailer was when the movie for this book originally came out. It could be one of those movies that just like completely missed the mark on replicating the book. So we're gonna give the book a go. It's got like 372 pages. So that's book number one. Book number two, I'm gonna be honest, is, I don't know why, I just assumed that this book was smaller than it actually is. It's almost 500 pages. I wonder if this is gonna surprise anybody that I haven't read this book, but Twilight by Meyer. I have not read any of these books. I have never really had a particular interest in reading these books, and I haven't seen the movies. All of my familiarity with the series comes from like clips that I've seen on social media and like what I've heard other people say about them. But I know for a fact that my mom at least went to the premiere for, I think, like the last movie, which like is weird to me to think that my mom was like fangirling over Twilight. She was Team Edward. And then out of these three, I would say this last one is the one that has like, that I have like the most interest in reading. My roommate is gonna be very excited that I'm gonna be picking up this book. But I just saw on Goodreads that another one of my friends that I talk about books with just finished reading this, and she gave it a 5 stars and then like immediately read like the next like 4 of them. So, and I don't think the series is over yet, to the extent of my knowledge that this series isn't over. So I guess I need to catch up. So these are the 4 books I'm going to, or the 3 books I'm going to be reading. Like I said, I'm going to be starting with Ready Player One. Let's get started. Okay, I'm getting started. Okay, I read a total of 30 pages today, which is not that many. But I had a lot of things to do today, and then my energy was just shot. I was falling asleep on the couch as I was reading this book. But my intentions are to read a lot more tomorrow, so hopefully I'm gonna have more thoughts for you. Then it's fine. I mean, like I said, I've only read 30 pages, and he's only like just now getting into like the video game thing, because, you know, the first 30 pages was just like background information and stuff. Okay, it's the next day. It's Sunday. I'm about 84 pages in. I mean, it's fine so far. Not really any action or anything. But I said the same thing about the last book I read, which was Wicked King, the second book in the Cruel Prince trilogy. And then I ended up liking it, so we'll see. I don't know. Okay, something that I was just thinking about last night is that this book is reminding me of Spy Kids Game Over. Is that the third one? I think it's the third one. I'm not so sure if Ernest Cline really understands the concept of how time works. I am getting more into this book though, because I just read 30 pages in the last 30 minutes. Alright, so it's a little after 10 p.m. I'm really tired. I really want to finish this book. I've got like about 100 pages left. I've read 200 pages already today. I am going to stay up as late as I can until I fall asleep to finish this book. Let's talk my thoughts on Ready Player One. I finished it super late last night, so I figured I would just tell you guys my thoughts this morning. So I finished it. I think I'm gonna give it a 4 stars. I mean, I enjoyed it, and I thought it was pretty good. It's definitely not something I would have picked up if I wasn't reading it for this video, and I ended up enjoying it, so that's a plus.
There were some parts that were pretty slow. Overall, I thought it was pretty good. So, 4 stars. It's good. I'll take that as a win for this video. Now, time to start on Twilight. Which hopefully it doesn't take me as long to read Twilight as it did to read Ready Player One, because it's a lot more pages. And I started Twilight. I am about to start chapter 4. I'm about to start chapter 4 on page 68. So far, it's fine. The font in this version is really big. It's fine. I mean, we're still like not that far into the book. Like, we're in the very, very, very beginnings of Edward and Bella's relationship. Like, at this point, we haven't even met Jacob yet. I'm gonna go in with spoilers in Twilight, so just be aware. I mean, I'm assuming like everybody and their mother already knows about like everything that happens in these books. I will say, I am currently finding these characters much more likable than I do when I see clips of the movie on TikTok. I'm sorry, how is she getting all of these guys to ask her to the dance? You know, I miss when chapters used to have names. It's a good time. Hello. I don't know when I last updated this video, but I am 180 pages into Twilight. I was really thinking I was gonna be able to finish it today, but then I got home from my morning activity and then felt like I got hit by a bus. So that's definitely not happening. We are at the part, Edward, I almost called him Robert. Edward is driving Bella home from Port Angeles, and she's just confronted him about like the mind reading and stuff, which like this part of the book is very much giving like teenaged behavior, which, and I know that Edward is not like technically a teenager because he's like old or whatever, but it's his behavior is very much giving teenager, because he's like, I should stay away from you, and then that lasted all of like 12 seconds, and then he like keeps a secret from her what's going on, but then cracks in like 2 seconds when she like starts asking questions and stuff, and like now he's like telling her everything. I'm like, it's very much giving like teenage behavior. Okay, I'm like 300 pages in, and honestly it's reading like a Wattpad book, because like every 5 seconds Edward's like, I can't stay away from you, but if I was good I would, and I'm so dangerous and you shouldn't want to be with me, and I can't believe you didn't tell anybody that I'd be here that you'd be here with me, because now I have no incentive to give you back, but I can't stay away from you, and I've never felt like this before, but I could eat you. Like, whoa. Please ignore my really haggard appearance. I finished this one, so I figured I needed to update before I start this one. So I finished this one last night. I think I'm gonna rate it a 3 stars. Because generally for a majority, for at least like 2/3 of the book, I really had a good time reading it. Maybe I'll give it a 2.75 stars. I'm trying to really hone my rating system, because like a couple weeks ago I would have rated this book 4 stars, but it's like really not a 4 stars. You know, I'm still in that time where I'm like refining what my like star ratings actually mean. So I think I'm gonna give this a 2.75 stars, because it's not a 2-star book, okay? It really isn't. And like for the most part, I had like a pretty good time reading it for the most part. Then it got to the part about the baseball game and things really started getting crazy and just like out of nowhere. And it was like, I think I recorded a clip yesterday of me saying this, but like it really was reading like a Wattpad book, like by that point, because it was just like, he's hunting you, but like why? And it's just like not where I was anticipating this book was gonna go. And I was just like, what is happening? So far in this video, we've got a 4-star and a 2.75 star. My roommate is gonna be very excited that I'm going to be reading this book. 416 pages. I'm really hoping I can finish this book tomorrow. I do know a few things about this book. I really don't know like that many things about this book and this book series, really. I think overall like Book Talk and Bookstagram has been pretty good about like keeping spoilers about this series to a minimum. Let's get started reading. Okay, so it's Monday, and these books are taking me longer than I originally thought they were going to read, but that's okay. I finally read chapter 20 of ACOTAR today. If you know, you know. How silly did that all look just now? Because I imagine I looked like a Ninja Turtle. I'm on page like 240. But I feel like I can't really like say my thoughts right now. So. Uh-oh. They're looking for her. Who's looking for her? Okay, I'm at the end of ACOTAR. I have like 26 pages left. I'm going to film my reaction. Oh no! Here we are, a week and a half later, and I have finished reading the books that I had heard were really good, but I didn't really want to read. I will say that this challenge was not unwarranted. Like, 2 out of the 3 of these books I actually really enjoyed reading. So the first one I read was Ready Player One. I think I gave this a 4 stars. The beginning was very slow, but once the action started picking up, I was really enjoying it. It implored a lot of shock value. The book was only published 12 years ago. However, there are like parts of this book that's like, that like could very well be happening right now. But I really overall enjoyed it. Now I know that this, I don't know if it's a sequel or if it's like a companion novel, but I do know he published another book called Ready Player 2. Well, like this, the way that this book ends, it doesn't really leave any unresolved plot lines. At this current point in time, I'm not gonna read the next one. The next one I read was Twilight. Now this one did get a significantly lower rating. I gave this one a 2.75 stars. Like, one of my favorite things to see in romance novels is like seeing the couple actually get to know each other and develop as individual characters into the people they are when they're in their relationship. And Twilight, just isn't written like that, because the characters really don't
interact much before they're in like a full-blown relationship. So is New Moon on my TBR? No, it's not. And then, of course, I finished with A Court of Thorns and Roses. I just finished this book, so I'm like still reeling. I'm rating this a 4.5 stars. I will say, like, the whole like beginning of the book was like, I feel like very heavily character driven rather than like plot driven, because like the big plot points didn't happen until like 3/4 of the way through the book. And so like the beginning was like very slow. However, unlike Twilight, you actually do get to see the two main characters become a couple, like develop that relationship, which I love in any book. I don't know what the next one is called, but is it on my TBR? Yes, it is. I'm currently going through that phase where I'm having to like use all of my self-control to keep myself from Googling things about how the rest of the series goes. I do know one big plot point, and I definitely think that changed, that my knowledge of that changed how my experience of reading this book. I was reading into things that like it didn't need to be read into, and like I was reacting to things differently than like the normal reaction that they should have elicited. But I mean, you know, being on Book Talk, being on Bookstagram, like there's just, you know, there's just no avoiding spoilers for this series. But I will be reading the next one at some point. It was a little slow at the beginning, and so that's why I get to 4.5 stars. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're feeling up to it. I really had a good time reading these books. I mean, the whole point of these themed reading vlogs that I'm making is because I want to read books that are out of my comfort zone, and also just things that I just wouldn't particularly want to pick up outside of this. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing more of these in the future. Anyways, thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next Saturday. Bye.